What are you building?
It's our house. Can't you tell?
Yes, but you haven't finished it.
What did I forget?
What's this room?
That's the center where I go to school.
And this?
Where the computer lives, and where I go to sleep, and where you and Daddy sleep. What year is it now? I forgot.
Here, I'll show you.
(1999 A.D.). More than a generation away, and yet dreams travel faster than light. And even arcs are like this, the oldest, strongest natural shape known. Hexagon modules that grow with a family's size and interests. Michael Shaw, 45, husband, father, is an astrophysicist. Several days each week, he commutes to a distant laboratory where he's engaged in the Mars 1 project, the colonization of the first planet. His minor in the some 10 years he attended a Midwestern university was botany. It is one of his many continuing hobbies. He is engrossed on this sunny morning in the study of the cellular structure of a new exotic fruit tree. Hopefully, his experiments will produce a giant peach with a thick protective skin much like that of a tangerine. This is one of the many 21st century devices or appliances that are part of the everyday life of the Shaw family. This workbench with its electronic screen enables Michael to call up photographic sections of the two parent fruit trees from which he began his experiments 3 years ago. At that time, he stored the two photographic images in the central home computer, which is secretary, librarian, banker, teacher, medical technician, bridge partner, and all-around servant in this house of tomorrow. All pertinent information about this family, its records, its tastes, and reference material, is stored in these memory banks, available instantly to every member of the family. Master James Shaw, 8 years old, student, attends formal school 2 mornings a week. Much of his education, however, is carried on in a kind of education center within the home.
And so, an era that began 500 years earlier with Copernicus and Galileo ends as the first astronaut takes his first halting steps onto the shores of the moon and begins a...
Are programmed into the home computer and fed into teaching machines, which allow him to progress as rapidly as his awakening mind can absorb the audio-visual lessons. Daily menus based on the nutritional needs of the family. When the meal has been selected, the various portions are fed automatically into the microwave oven for a few seconds of thawing or warming. The house of 1999 will be virtually maintenance-free. A central atmospheric system will maintain constant year-round temperatures and control humidity, bacteria, pollen, and dust. Clothing of the non-disposable variety will be stored in cleaning closets, where a chemical vapor atmosphere and an ultrasonic vibrator will remove dirt particles. Fingertip shopping will be one of the many homemakers' conveniences. This video console will be channeled into the store of her choice. There, a camera will scan a display of wares, which she will select by push button. Another part of this console is a household monitor screen, which maintains a watch on critical areas in the house, swimming pool, or yard. What the wife selects on her console will be paid for by the husband at his counterpart console. All bills and transactions will be carried out electronically. A central bank computer will debit the family's account the amount of purchases and credit the department store, for example, informing the family's home computer at the same time. Father, at the touch of a button, receives an instantaneous printed copy of his budget, the amount of taxes he owes, the payments left on the car, and so forth. All documents and household records are available on the video screen for immediate reference. Also at his disposal is an electronic correspondence machine, or home post office, which allows for instant written communication between individuals anywhere in the world. To maintain these and hundreds of complex electronic circuits, a monitor checks all circuits every few seconds, inserts a backup circuit if and when trouble develops, and alerts the communal service agency for replacement. The Home Energy Center, with its fuel cell, furnishes power, provides absolutely pure water, burns waste, and heats or cools the rooms. Too computerized? Too cold? The world of tomorrow will be as cold as sunlight.
Hi, Fred. How's the old golf game?
Don't ask. 6 inches of snow and a blizzard on the way. What do you got in mind?
Oh, how about some golf at Pebble Beach Saturday afternoon?
Great. Anything to get out of here.
All right, hold on a minute. I don't know. The coast looks a little doubtful. There's a low moving in. Let me check Mexico City. Yeah, it looks great. All right, here's what we'll do. We'll meet at the El Centro about noon, have some lunch, and then we'll tee off.
Great. Only this time, I'm going to have to get about 2 strokes aside, because I haven't been playing all winter, and I'm a little rusty, and I know that you've probably been playing every day, right? Sure.
In a virtually dirt-free environment, Karen Shaw, several hours a week, gets her hands very dirty.
In Paris, Pete. Family settled down okay?
Yeah, Marge loves it, and the kids are parley-booing like neighbors. How's the fishing in the Philippines?
Oh, I've never had a fishing like that anywhere in the world.
I still say you can't beat the Amazon. I happened to catch a live performance of a very sensational youth singer from Puerto Rico the other night. Would you like to see it?
Love it, yeah.
Manga salía bolchero. Ay, que dame tu amor.
eye is first thrilled by the colossal elephant towers at the entrance portals of a walled city of massive buildings, exotic, inspiring. Reminiscent of the colorful Spanish influence in the early West, in the days of senoritas and caballeros, are the graceful gay dances of old Spain. Just beyond, at the court of the Seven Seas, is the giant statue of Pacifica, boldly expressing the theme of the Golden Gate World's Fair. Behind it, a silver chime curtain tinkles a tranquil song of peace. Pacifica is a massive sculptured figure 80 feet high. Overlooking the court it dominates, the exposition's vast garden acres. Sparkling bright fountains are everywhere, living silver strands, reflecting the flowers and the brilliant colors of great walls under the sunlit California skies. Looming over the court below rises the graceful Tower of the Sun, set among pools and gardens carpeted with the bright flowers. This is the theme center. The day here is glorious, but as the sun drops in the sparkling Pacific and the purple dusk creeps from the east, the enchantment of the night to new glamour. Tinted illuminations of nocturnal harmony, painted with great brushes of light, glittering in the dark, a veritable fairyland with changing colors of blue and rose and green. Fountains become living rivers of fire.
Firebird 1, the four-wheeled grandson of the jet airplane. Like its famous predecessors, it too gets its power from a tornado of hot burning gases. But instead of pushing out of a tailpipe, those hot gases do their work on a turbine that drives the wheels. Even though it was introduced at the 1954 Motorama, Firebird 1 already is obsolete, but it has served its purpose. GM designed and built it as a test track vehicle to see how well a gas turbine engine could drive an automobile. Could such an idea be adapted to family car driving conditions? Here on the outskirts of Detroit at GM's vast new technical center, these problems are constantly explored. In the research laboratory also are men who explore the distant future. They project their thinking from the solid foundations of many years' experience with the famous Allison turbojet engines, the forerunners of gas turbine engines. They've also learned a great deal from building the GM Turbo Cruiser, the world's first bus powered by a gas turbine engine. Still more knowledge has been gained from the engine design for Firebird 1. Here is a simple, durable, high-output power plant, a continuous flow of power, and naturally balanced because there are no reciprocating parts, no pistons, no connecting rods, no valves. But could something be done to make it even better? Would it be possible to save some of the waste exhaust heat and put it to work for greater fuel economy? Scores of questions like these were translated into formulas for technical analysis by the giant electronic brain. With these answers provided, the human brain went into action again. In the beginning, to tackle the great task, thousands of engineering drawings were made. A myriad of technical problems were encountered through every stage in building a new kind of car. Car, a sturdy, lightweight, non-corrosive metal body is desired, and titanium, a new wonder metal, is used. But styling is more than just a matter of pleasing lines, pretty colors, and a dash of chrome. It takes careful arranging to integrate the power plant chassis and body. Primarily, the passengers must be made comfortable in attractive seats, for the Firebird must look as well as perform like a car of the future. Now to give the first breath of life to this experimental car. And so is born GM's Firebird II, another historic milestone in automotive engineering. Here's a study of the Firebird through a cinemascope lens, gliding down the highway of tomorrow. The great power package, which opened a new era in aviation, may someday be harnessed to serve the motoring public. This is a family car with the magic of jet power. Scientists don't say this will happen, but they say it could.
If you happen to see this trim little buggy zoom up and quickly swing into a tight parking spot, you'll be looking at a remarkable new car, the Davis three-wheeler. With four seated comfortably, it takes off. Streamlined as a plane is this unique creation with designer Gary Davis at the wheel. Built in Southern California, it logically incorporates several aircraft principles, such as adaptation of the tricycle landing gear system. A switch on the dashboard operates built-in hydraulic jacks and makes tire changing an exhilarating experience. The single front wheel in the event of a blowout, even at a top speed of 115 miles an hour. There are no fenders. Wraparound steel bumpers protect removable body panels. This little chariot can really run you around in circles. What's the trouble, Gary? Uh-oh, a modern Frankenstein. And here's another streamlined marvel on wheels. It only needs a pair of wings to be at home in the sky. Formidable indeed is its nose.
A World's Fair is, to use a favorite word of W.C. Fields, a melange. It's a mixture, a conglomeration, a cluster of things. In fact, had this fair failed, we might have called it Cluster's Last Stand. Happily, it is succeeding. Now, this New York Fair is designed to do a number of things. It's designed to entertain, to divert, to instruct, to inform, to arouse the desire to travel, and to arouse the desire to buy. It's also intended to give some notion of the future. Many of these things the New York Fair does very well. Some of them it does not so well.
It costs 75 cents for a 4.5-minute ride, 35 cents for children, and it probably has its own numbered bank account in Zurich. It's a good way to get a general impression of the fair, an overall view. My own feeling was that the fair was not really futuristic. At least it did not represent any future city that I would find congenial. If it was futuristic, it was in a comic book way. As I rode along, it seemed to me I was transported back to my boyhood, to the worlds of Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon, and the kind of places they always seem to be rocketing around in. I say this with no intent to complain. In its own outlandish way, the fair is funny and hospitable, and not to be taken too seriously. Architectural critics and city planners have generally attacked the fair for being a jumble, for blazing no new trails, for lacking taste.
Attention, please. Silence.
This is a Mexican Indian dressed up as an eagle. He's part of one of the best free shows at the fair. The complaint has been made that the fair is too expensive and that anything worth seeing requires a long wait. Well, this outdoor show at the Mexican Pavilion is free and requires no wait at all. The troupe goes by the name The Flying Men of Papantla, and the show is produced by Senor Carlos Ochoa of Acapulco. The pole is 114 feet high, and the ceremony is aimed at inducing the rain god to perform as advertised. Before the ceremony, the Indians burn a chicken as protection. However, there's nothing chicken about their performance. The Mexicans deserve several loud oles for one of the best shows at the fair and one of the most stylish pavilions.
like to welcome you to our Clairol Color Carousel. Please see yourself in the hair color bubbles out in front. See yourself as a blonde, brunette, or redhead. If you'd like to come in afterward, come take the ride around the carousel. It's designed for women over 16 years of age. You can take the ride around, relax, listen to a musical hair coloring introduction sung by Johnny Desmond. Afterward, if you'd like to have consultation, stop at the desk and tell the consultant there how you'd like to change your hair color. If you'll just step right up here to the left, come into the pavilion, please.
We dream by day, or when we dream by night. They say we dream in black and white, and what could be duller? No color, no color. Me, I like to think that I can choose my dreams. So from now on I'll refuse my dreams unless they're in color. Great, cool, bright, wild.
I was the first man ever permitted to ride the Clairol Carousel, a journalistic feat likely to rank with John Chancellor's reporting his own arrest at the Republican convention.
My feet are what's on my mind. Any place at the fair that lets you sit down looks attractive to me.
By now, the major exhibits at the fair have established a popularity rating with the public in the manner of a bestseller list. The #1 favorite is the General Motors Futurama, a 15-minute ride which has been averaging about 90,000 visitors daily. In second place is the Vatican Pavilion, to which 78,000 people have been drawn every day. The major attraction, of course, is Michelangelo's Pietà.
Easier. Mother, I was reading about a fella named Tom Edison who's working on an idea for snap-on electric lights.
I'll believe that when I see
The mechanical dog has proved to be the best-loved animal at the fair.
It's hard to imagine how life could be any easier.
For a while, some of the aristocratic ladies were returning tips out of embarrassment. Now, after 2 months, they've learned to murmur a gemütlich Dankeschön and pocket the change. For the kids, the Lowenbrow people offer root beer, making them as happy as Hans and Fritz. The stone wall of the Japanese pavilion has also been warmly praised for its originality. I took a leisurely walk around it and ran into one of the nicest people I met at the fair.
Here comes Tick-Tock the robot.
His name, he told me, was Tick-Tock. Tick-Tock strolls around the Japanese pavilion every afternoon, if the weather is good, and if his batteries are not feeling run down. He proved to be a congenial robot and consented to an interview, provided we followed robots' rules of order. There's this to be said about the fair. If you walk with a robot, only a few people bother to stare. Tick-Tock's conversation is limited, consisting mostly of plugs for Japanese watches, but he would not have been sent here if he weren't willing to work.